the capsON podcast, coming to you from the capital, with your hosts, Nick Tobias, Tyler Blumenstick, and Michael Britton.
Welcome back to the capsON podcast. Baseball season is right around the corner, and today we're going to start you guys off with projections for every single division, every single team in the American League, and then, you guessed it, next week we'll have the National League for you to round out the entire Major League Baseball season projections out of us. How we doing?
What's up?
Doing well. Doing very well.
Some of these American League teams are bad. Like, they're real bad.
They really are.
They're real bad.
And that's the problem with, the balancing competition, being competitive year in and year out. And even for smaller market teams, because there's no dead set salary cap, it kind of widens the gap a little bit for teams to kind of overpay if they're willing to pay that luxury tax. And we're seeing the effects of that over the last couple of years, where there's really kind of a top heaviness to the league. But we're going to break this down for you. We're going to start it off with the AL East and the Baltimore Orioles.
Yuck.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to harp on this much because they're just not going to be good. We're looking at the lineup right now in front of us. Obviously, you guys can't see because we don't have a simulcast yet, but hopefully we will.
Keyword yet.
Yet. I'm looking at this lineup right now, and there's no names that jump out to me except for Chris Davis, and that's saying a lot because Chris Davis used to be one of the better players in the league. He used to be up there, all-star, year in and year out, mashing bombs, taking advantage of that high but kind of short right field porch in Camden Yards. But other than that, Jose Iglesias is really the only other people, and nothing in the lineup really, or nothing in the starting rotation really jumps out whatsoever.
Oh, they got John Means.
Yeah, John Means,
Means.
Wasn't he their all-star last year?
was their all-star.
He was.
He
was deserving of it too, I would say.
I don't
He was a
know,
good
man.
pitcher. The numbers don't really do it justice. He was a pretty decent pitcher. Baltimore's projected on FanDuel 56.5 wins. Last year they went 54 and 108. That's not good.
That is awful. That is so bad.
That is not good. Fangraphs has them projected to go 61 and 101. Better.
Better.
And Pacoda from Baseball America, or Baseball Perspective? Baseball Prospectus? I don't know. Pacoda has them going 57 and 105. Worse than Fangraphs. Better than what they did last year. Better than the projections. They only lost Jonathan VR, and they're bringing in Jose Iglesias, as you said, so that kind of stopgaps here. 56.5, that's a low total. They won 54 last year. I'm going to go with over, and not comfortably.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they got better. They have young guys, which developed in a way. I mean, the thing is with this team, there's no expectations. So how do you play poorly if you have no expectations? If you're supposed to be the worst team in the league, what is it? An extra 2 wins this year? Did they pull out an extra 2 wins? I think they got pull out an extra 2 wins.
The thing that concerns me this year,
3. Sorry.
right? Yeah, no, you're right. The thing that concerns me this year is they have some tradable assets on this team. If you look at a guy like Trey Mancini, he can help a contender, right? If you go over to their bullpen, they have a pitcher in Michael Givens who has save experience. They have, I think Castro. I don't know his first name. So if you can click the bullpen tab there for me.
Let me get this up real quick. Miguel
Castro. He's a pretty decent pitcher, so that those guys can help contenders. They can, obviously Baltimore is trying to get assets. Those are guys that can go, and that would obviously hurt the projections. But to win 2 more games than last year, it doesn't seem out of reach to me. 3 more. Excuse me, 3 more. That's enough Orioles.
Did they trade Adam Jones in the middle of last year?
No,
they let him go.
No, yeah, he signed with the.
He just
he
re-signed
just straight
with
up
the
signed.
D-backs?
He's
I don't
playing
remember
in
how that
Japan.
played out.
He's playing in Japan now.
Is he really?
Yeah, they love him in Japan.
See, we're all getting back in the MLB swing. We'll be fully immersed.
A little
in the
rusty,
season.
yeah, a little rusty.
We still have March Madness, absolutely the best month of the year, right around the corner. We're going to bring you a couple March Madness special episodes. Not sure of the capacity yet or how many of us will be doing it, but I surely plan to do it. Whoever else wants to join me on it, I'm going to bring you the content for March Madness, week in and week out, maybe predicting each round, going over maybe a little bit before the bracket. But anyways,
Baltimore Orioles.
moving on.
They get 3 more wins this year, yes or no?
Yes.
All right, so what are we going around and we're choosing?
Yeah,
Under, over?
I think they get over.
I'm going to say over just based on the fact that, like, the AL East is a little bit weaker, just in the fact that the Red Sox kind of are taking a step back. But then again, you look at the Blue Jays, kind of that team that no one's really talking about, but they're really going to come back. We'll get to them.
We'll get to them.
But yeah, I mean, I think AL East really took a step back, so we'll see where
What do you
that
think,
goes.
Mike? Over? 3
I'm
more
going
wins?
over 63 wins.
Wow.
Yeah, did I say over?
You said over. We're
All
all
right.
going over. Nick, break down the Boston Red Sox.
Well,
Because none of us want to do it.
listen, the Sox are in a tough spot here. Losing Mookie, losing David Price. Chris Sale's on the verge of getting Tommy John.
He's not getting Tommy John.
Yeah, but then they said it's not. But then they
Yeah.
also said it's not out of
Yeah.
question. Yeah, so he's on the verge. So that's 3 starters. If Evaldi coming back from Tommy John, still not the same pitcher. Their offense is not. It's not like their offense has changed too much. I mean, yeah, you lose arguably the best player in the American League. Benintendi, I think with Mookie Betts. Benintendi, I like Benintendi. I think Devers takes a big step. Did they lose JBJ?
No, they still got
No, he's still there.
What'd they get last year?
So last year they went 84 and 78. FanDuel has them projected at 84 and a half, right along that same
I think they're
slot
under.
there.
I think they're under.
Fangraphs has them projected to go 87 and 75, so that would be the over. Pacoda has them going 85 and 77. Key additions: Alex Verdugo, Martin Perez, excuse me, and Kevin PR.
Kevin
Pillar.
Kevin Pillar in center field is a stud.
He's a good fielder.
I don't think their offense takes as much of a step. Their offense isn't going to be the problem. It's their pitching.
You're losing arguably the second best player in baseball.
Okay, but
The thing is, a
it's their
nine-man
pitching.
lineup.
It's their pitching is
Right,
so bad.
absolutely.
It is so
Absolutely.
bad. They're in so much trouble. I haven't seen this kind of a pitching rotation from the rotation of the bullpen since. I mean, it looks like the Mets, bunch of scrubs out there just throwing the ball.
It's bad. Erod, Eduardo Rodriguez took a big jump last year. Chris Sale obviously might be on the operating table. Eovaldi has been on the operating table before, but once he's like healthy and good, like he's on. But Martin Perez I think he was statistically one of the worst pitchers last year. They just signed Colin McHugh earlier this afternoon, and I don't know who
Average.
Ryan Weber is. So I can't make a projection there, but their bullpen last year was the issue. They have Brandon Workman, who I think they're going to slot into the closing job. I think it's just
Do you still have Cash Daddy?
Andrew Kashner.
Yeah.
No, I think it just comes down to stability for them.
And I think it's going to be all over. I mean, they're going to have their game. Obviously, they're going to have their good games and their bad games, but I don't see them winning close to. I think they're going to win 70 games. I think they're going to win 70 games. This
I think
year.
they're better than a 70-win team, but I don't know with everything going on. New coach, no stability in the bullpen.
Well, they're
tough
still
rotation.
waiting. They're still waiting on MLB
Exactly.
on their
Exactly.
investigation too. So
I'm gonna go under, but I'm
gonna
a
go
little
under.
I'm a little better there and probably going around like 83, 84.
I think they're going to.
The talent is there.
The talent's there.
The talent's there.
It's not like they don't have the talent. It's just their pitching is going to be a problem. And being a Mets fan, knowing that the offense has potential, but when the pitching is that bad,
Right.
there's nothing you can do. So I'm going under here.
All right, so I look at this Red Sox team just kind of from a bird's eye view, and even just in baseball in general, like you can take a 9-man lineup, you can take a guy like Mookie Betts out, and because there's 9 spots in the lineup, it's not necessarily going to suffer as much, and especially with a team that you have impact bats like Andrew Benintendi, you have Devers, you have Bogarts, you have Martinez, you have a guy like Mitch Moreland, even Kevin Pillar is a scrappy hitter, and he's going to be hitting towards the bottom of that lineup. Same thing with Jackie Bradley Jr. He can get hot, and we know what he can do in the outfield.
But he could be the worst hitter at the plate. sometimes.
Absolutely, but that's why you slot him into that 8-9 hole down there. I feel like the Red Sox traditionally bat their catchers down in the 8-9
Right.
pairing with Jackie Bradley Jr.
They need jumps from their guys, and it's not out of the question. You look at Devers last year. Devers was one of the best players in baseball last year. Xander Bogaerts is one of the better hitting shortstops in the league, and you can look for those guys to continue progressing forward. Andrew Benintendi kind of took a step back last year, so if he gets somewhat on track, you're right. There are voids to fill with Mookie Betts, but they have talent there, assuming they take the step to go there.
Yeah, I mean, it's been touched on already, but the bullpen, even last year we saw it. That's the thing that has been dragging them down the last I would say 2 years, even in their World Series run, they did not even have like really that much of a formidable bullpen outside of Craig Kimbrell.
But they had guys to get them there.
They did.
They
but
don't
those
have
guys
the
are the
issue
same guys now
is
just pushing up.
right. These guys aren't made for closer roles, and it's not like as simple as plugging good reliever into closer role. It's a completely different situation when you got to get 3 of the top guys out, and you got 3 outs to do it, and you're only up 1.
Yeah, I mean, I said it when Kimbrell, when the Red Sox were coming out saying they weren't going to give Kimbrell the money in the offseason last year. I said it, and I have nothing to back me up here, but you can just take my word for it. But I knew they were going to struggle. I mean, it's not like you have the luxury of a deep bullpen like the Yankees have, where you can just say like we have it this year, and we'll get to the Yankees. But we're not having Dylan Betances back this year, and I think that's going to hurt. And we have a strong bullpen, so that just shows, especially the way the game is moving nowadays, more to pulling the starter early and handing it over to that bullpen. The Red Sox are going to struggle. And with that being said, I'm going to go over.
Really?
84.
Really?
I just think this team has enough.
I think even if they get Sale, it's not going to do much.
The thing is, you have a guy like Eduardo Rodriguez. You have Evaldi. You have Martin Perez, who's a decent starter in the middle to end of your rotation. He had some good flashes the last couple of years in Texas. And same thing with Colin McHugh in Houston, now a Red Sox, obviously. I just think that they have enough. And 84 is not a lot to ask for. It's a couple games over 500. I think I wouldn't be shocked if you can get a 90-win team. Like we saw what the Rays did last year, and this team is better than that Rays team last year. Obviously, they're built differently. The Rays were really kind of driven by their pitching, but again, we'll get to that.
I'm going to go with under. I have to agree with Mano. I think they're going to be close to the 84 mark?
84 and a half.
I think it's going to be close, like very low 80s, but just...
They went 84 and 78 last year, so it's right around the same.
I think it's going to be right around there. I think it's going to be just under. And one thing, like I know we've touched on it, but if you're getting killed in the bullpen, you're going to have no momentum coming out with the bats. Like you're getting killed, and obviously if other teams are putting up points and you don't have the momentum to keep up with them, people are going to run away with...
You can only bail out your pitching staff so many times before you're like...
Exactly.
I got to do it again.
And when you're sitting in the field so long and you get put down, like 3 up, 3 down, that kills it, right?
Well, a bad bullpen, you're right. It kills the morale of the team because then what's the point?
Exactly. It's not just your defensive side. Like once you get up to bat,
what's the point?
It screws that as well.
It's also important to note that, take it for what it is, but Dustin Pedroia will be coming back somewhere a little bit before the All-Star break.
Good for him.
But yeah, he's struggled with injuries, but when healthy, he can be a contributor. I don't know where you're going to slot him in because you have Michael Chavis coming in. He really came on at the end of last year. But, yeah, I mean, they have those pop bats, and especially if you can get the younger guys like Devers and Chavis to really take that next step. Same thing with Benintendi. I mean, he's up there. But, I mean, I think we're going to move on here.
Benintendi plays in the right ballpark, too. I mean, he plays with a nice short portion of right field, even when you play in...
It's pretty deep.
It is. It's like curved. It's like the shortest right field to like home to pole, but like it curves
straight down the line is the shortest in the league.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't call right field short by any means.
All right, yeah.
That's enough Red Sox. I'm done with that. Moving over to the other colored Sox, we have the White Sox.
Is white a color?
Fine. Moving over.
I would say so. Yes.
Okay.
We have the Chicago White Sox projected to go 80.
Are we staying consistent with the divisions?
No.
All right.
It's in alphabetical order.
That's fair. We'll keep it that way.
Chicago White Sox, their over-under right now on FanDuel is 83.5. Last year they went 72 and 98. Fangraphs has them going 82 and 80. Pacoda has them going 83 and 79. This is the fun part. They're one of the...
I love this team.
They're a good... team to talk about.
I love this baseball
team. Key additions, Yasmani Grandal, Dallas Keuchel, Edwin Encarnacion, Gio Gonzalez. They lost Ivan Nova, and they lost Yolmer Sanchez.
You should throw Nomar Mazara in that key additions.
I don't like Nomar Mazara.
Really?
No,
Look, I don't either.
You don't like Nomar Mazara?
No.
He's kind of like Joey Gallo, but like not Joey Gallo.
Yeah, but not good.
Yeah,
Joey Gallo's good.
Joey Gallo.
Joey Gallo's good.
Nomar
Mazara's not.
I love this baseball team. They just... Who'd they just re-sign?
They just
re-signed
re-signed
Sox?
Yohan Makanda.
No, I thought it was Eloy Jimenez.
I'm pretty sure they signed Makata to an extension.
They signed Makanda to an extension.
Well, they have him. They have Jimenez, who's a stud. They're loaded. They have not Brian McCann. Who's their? It's not. Who's their?
It's
who's
James
their catcher?
McCann.
James McCann.
He's
also
out
not
though.
on the team.
They signed Yasmani Grandal.
But he's not out. What do you mean he's out?
He's not on the team.
He's not on the White Sox anymore.
Since when? I thought they extended
They
the
went after
qualifying
Grandal,
offer.
possibly the best pitcher, but I mean, regardless.
I mean, I look at this team and I just see so much potential. I mean, Jose Abreu, stud. Makata, stud.
Tim Anderson won the
stud.
batting title last year.
Grandal, stud. Edwin Encarnacion, not sold on. Eloy Jimenez, stud. I love
Edwin's
this team.
going to hit home runs, though.
I love
That's what
this
he's
team.
there. He's there to drive in the runs.
I love this
right?
team. Gio Gonzalez is the fifth starter on the back end of the rotation is solid. I mean, Giolito coming off of a career year last year. Keuchel, I mean, is a good filling guy.
So here's what I'm gonna say here. They have Giolito, who was one of the better pitchers in baseball last year. I'm gonna go ahead and say that he's gonna take that next step up. Dallas Keuchel, phenomenal pitcher, not what he used to be, but still great at painting the corners. Right. Ronaldo Lopez, Washington's top prospect. He was ranked higher than Lucas Giolito when they traded for him. When it was Adam Eaton.
Adam Eaton potatoes,
Adam
yeah.
Eaton.
Yeah.
Dylan Cease is a young guy. He showed some flashes last year. So these guys can all take a step up, and it all relies on Yasmani Grandal. Yasmani Grandal graded out as one of the best pitch framing guys last year.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
huge for a guy like Dallas Keuchel, who's going to paint the corner. If you're a little bit outside, Yasmani Grandal is going to frame that right
Same
in.
thing with Gio.
Same thing with Gio.
He's a great defensive catcher. He plays on he bats both sides of the plate.
He's a hitter too. Like catchers around the league, absolute zeros. They're in there for their bat. They're in there for their
Defense.
Their
one or the
defense.
other.
He could do both.
Yep.
There's a very select few catchers that I'd put up there with their bats, and it's Yasmani Grandal, it's Gary Sanchez,
With JT Realmuto up there.
Real Muto.
Definitely JT.
James McCann broke out last
Yeah,
year.
James McCann, like what Buster Posey used to do, they're really hard to come by.
Prime Brian McCann.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so these guys, so this is a phenomenal lineup. My concern is the bullpen. They don't have a lot of names that are in there that are like stud guys, but they might have overperformed last year. You look at a guy like Aaron Bummer, you look at the guy like Steve Cechek, they just brought in. They got your boy Alberto Mejia.
Alberto.
And Kelvin Herrera's in there.
And Kelvin Herrera's got experience. Alex Colomé has experience. These are guys
Jace Fry. I mean,
Jace Fry last year I think he had the lowest or the highest ground ball rate among pitchers.
I mean,
it wasn't Fry, it was Bummer.
we're jumping from 72 to 83.5. That's
10
An
wins.
extra
That's
10.
big.
That's an extra 11, 12 wins.
Yeah, but then you look at the division that they're in. They play the Indians, they play the Twins, they play the Royals, and they play Indians, Twins, Royals, White Sox, and who am I missing?
Twins.
He already said Twins.
Oh.
I don't know who I'm missing. Why am I drawing a blank here? The Tigers.
Tigers. I mean, really, you only got to really worry about the Twins this year.
The Indians are
They're
going to
the
be
Indians.
scrappy. But the thing is, it's not a loaded division. There isn't that team that really.
I think they're going to beat. They're going to beat.
They're going to beat up on each
They're
other,
gonna-
which scares me to get to 83. Like
83 is a lot.
that's rough.
It's a huge jump. I mean, they're going to be a playoff team, no doubt, but I don't think they're going to make. I don't think they're going to jump up 12 wins. I don't. I'm going to take under. I'm going to take I think they get around 80 wins, probably 79, 80-ish. I don't think they're going to get to the 84.
I'm right there with you. I'm going under.
I got to go under.
I happen to disagree with you. I'm going to go over here. I compare this team to the 2018 Oakland Athletics. That nobody had any expectations for them whatsoever, and they came out and won. What was it? 99.
Yeah, Oakland's always a team
98,
that shows up late and somehow you're like 97 wins and you're like, oh shit, I got to play them round one, or I got to play them in the wild card game.
But 2018 was the first year, was that year for them where they broke out. They made the playoffs. But so I compare this team to that team, and you just look at it. We've touched on it. I don't want to harp and waste any more time than we have to.
Yeah.
But it's a young team with veteran bats, with good leadership and a well-run organization. I was almost feeling bad for them. Was it last year, I believe, in the offseason? Who were they going after? Who was the big signing last
They're
year?
going after Bryce Harper.
They were going
They
after
were
Manny
they were going
Machado.
after Manny
They were
Machado,
after
and they
Manny.
went to Manny Machado by signing all his friends.
Exactly.
And they were in on Bryce Harper too.
Yeah, but it's just not a really favorable place to play. Like, you're going to go to Chicago to play baseball. You're going to go play for the Cubs. But yeah, they've done a really, really good job constructing this lineup of guys that maybe didn't have many other options anywhere, but still have an upside, just kind of like Edwin Encarnacion. And then they went and made that big splash signing in Yasmani Grandal. And it really shows a lot about how players value this organization and the team around it, because a guy like Yasmani Grandal, like while it's a
big
huge
signing.
thing to go chase the money, you got to be comfortable where you play and you got to want to be there. And he chose the White Sox. So
Yeah, I mean they went from a no-name team to now they got a couple big signings. You know,
Exactly.
you extend Jose Abreu, Yoel Moncada. They have Eloy Jim Sox. I think they're going to be a good team to bet on. I don't like the over. I don't like the the total wins. I do think they're going to be a good team to bet on.
If you like Rookie of the Year futures, Luis Robert might be your guy. He's a stud. He is a machine. So keep that one in the pocket.
Mike?
I'm going to go with Stick. I'm going to go with the over just barely, 85, 86 wins, but I think they're going to have a breakout season.
All right, let's rock. What we got next?
all right, so their division foe, we got the Cleveland Indians. Their total set at 85.5. Last year, 93 and 69.
Nice.
Yeah, Fangraphs is projecting
They
them.
won 93 games last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
That's
It's
I
a
feel like
weak
that was a
division,
quiet
that's what I'm
93.
saying,
That was a
like,
quiet 93.
Everybody beat up on the White Sox and the Royals last. I mean the Tigers and the Royals last year. I mean, and then that's how I see this division going again. Back to the White Sox point, I feel like the White Sox are that team to take over. With the Indians just not really having much. Their starting rotation is slowly dwindling from the prime. Corey Kluber that they had, Carlos Carrasco, Danny Salazar, Trevor Bauer, Shane Bieber, who was their fifth starter at that point. Now, most likely just going to be their ace.
He's good.
And Mike Clevenger.
Bieber's a stud. Bieber's a stud.
Clev is a stud.
Cleve's a
Clevenger
stud.
is
I even
great.
think Plesac is going to be a great pitcher. I like Zach Plesac. I do. But their offense,
They're kind of in a rebuild here, and their lineup is a little bit weaker than we're used to seeing out of them. But, I mean, they still have Lindor. There were trade rumors in the offseason. Didn't
whole
end up
lot
getting
of trade
dealt.
rumors. I think he gets dealt this year.
Lindor. They just don't want to pay him, which is dumb. But they just don't want to pay him. So like, if you don't want to pay him, like trade him. That's
The thing is,
way
they
it
know they
goes.
can compete in this division.
Right, absolutely.
So,
But they're not
having that-
competing for World Series. They're trying to continually make the playoffs, and well, obviously they're trying to,
All you gotta do is win your division.
right.
That's all
But
you
they're
gotta
gonna,
do.
you're right. But they're gonna try to stay under a certain, tax or like a dollar sign amount, just so they can keep the fans happy. But fans are smart these days. They know like they'll see right through it. There's some dudes in this lineup though, like you said, Lindor, Jose Ramirez kind of wasn't Jose Ramirez last year. He was kind of bouncing around positions, second and third base. They brought in Donaldson and once they brought in Donaldson, Jose Ramirez got a little bit better, more consistency.
Less pressure taken off of him too.
Yeah.
I mean, he is the power bat in this lineup. I mean, even him and Franmil,
Him and the Fran millionaire.
Franmil Reyes. He hasn't taken the jump though. He's a huge dude, but he just
pops
hasn't
his
taken
dingers.
that. But
gets
he
them.
hasn't taken that jump. I mean, he'll pop a dinger, but that's just about it. What do we have him on his?
I think
average?
that's his ceiling.
279. I mean, I think that's high for.
We
an
got him at
average fan.
264.
I was looking.
I think this is projected.
264. I feel like he's more of a 250, 245.
Right.
And that's with a high strikeout rate too, I think. So Cesar Hernandez, Domingo Santana's just a fill-in guy. I don't know. What we have the over? They're over under 85. They're at 93 last year.
Yeah, they were at 93 last year, 85.
This is going to be a tough division. I think all these teams are going to hang around each other. Their bullpen. Who do they even have in their bullpen?
I mean,
Brad Hand.
Yeah, Brad Hand. Adam Simber's pretty good. They got
Brad
Adam
Hand.
Plutko in there. Ali Perez coming back. That guy's got to be close to 40 years old.
Yeah, I remember when he was on the Mets and he was terrible. He was awful.
Hunter Wood was on the he was on the Rays last year. He was pretty good. He's got some lettuce. He's got some flow.
All right, so 85 and a half.
85 and a half.
I'm gonna go under. I think they're gonna be slightly under too. I think it's gonna be an 82 win team.
82 wins. I can see that. I'm gonna go over here. I think they're. I mean, they didn't have Kluber last year. They won 93 games. I'm gonna go over. This team's barring any, injuries here, obviously, or them straight up blowing it up. I think 90 wins is more than attainable for this roster.
I have to agree. I'm going to go over with this. I think it's going to be a two-horse race, kind of like we've seen the AL East with the Yankees and the Red Sox, both getting up close and above 90 wins. I think that's what's going to happen here. The Tigers and the Royals aren't competitive, and you get 19 games a year against both of those teams. I mean, that's 38 wins, assuming you go 70% against those teams. That's another 25 between 25 and 30 wins just straight off the bat within your division. and then you also have another 130 games or so. I mean, 90 wins is definitely attainable, especially in a division like this.
I'm going to go under, especially since I think that the White Sox are going to have their breakout year. I think them and the Indians are almost going to swap here. I think, Nick, I'm going to kind of go off what you said. I don't think they're going to go under 80, but I don't think they're going to reach 86. So I have to go with like the 82, 83 range. I'm going to hang out with the under.
Yeah.
All right. So we weren't planning on going in divisional order, but, I mean, just based off the way that whoever organized the alphabet did, we have the third AL Central team in a row with the Detroit Tigers.
Reps up. D-town.
56.5 is the total. Last year they were 47 and 114. Absolutely terrible. One of the worst baseball teams I've seen in my lifetime. Virtually irrelevant.
They lose Castellanos. They lose Iglesias. I don't know, man. This is a bad baseball team.
Fangraphs has them going 67 and 95.
Who are they
Pacoda has them going 69.
Are they playing the Royals all year?
And 93. Key additions: Ivan Nova, Cam Maven, Jonathan Scope, and Austin Romine.
Yuck.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't know. I mean, there's nothing about this offense makes me excited.
Austin Romine excites me. You're not a Yankee fan, but Austin Romine going to Detroit to finally get a starting job, while it's going to really suck to not have him, because absolutely the best backup catcher in baseball. The last couple of years playing behind Gary Sanchez. Yeah, he excites me. I mean, I'm happy for him. I want to see what he can do in a starting role. So I'm gonna keep an eye on the Tigers just to watch.
I just
Austin
think that this team, once one person goes down, that's it. You know, even if you lose Miggy to an injury, CJ Cron to an injury, Scope to an injury, that's it. I mean, who do they got on their bench? Nobody. I don't think they're a deep team at all. Pitching wise, Matt Boyd, Zim, Nova, Turnbull, Fulmer. Fulmer had that one good year.
Fulmer's going to be out till like a little bit before the All-Star break, somewhere around there.
So bad. Okay.
Yeah. Look for Matt Boyd to kind of pick up on his breakout season last year, but it's not going to.
Well
he's not going to win him 67 games.
The thing is,
Turnbull was good last year. He gave up a lot of home runs. I think he might have won like 3 games. I think he won like 3 and 13 or something like that. But everything like advanced was like
offense
Michael
makes me nervous.
The
offense makes me nervous for these pitchers. The pitchers can be decent, but if you can't put up the points, you can't put up runs. What are you going to do? I mean, you get a starter that gives up 4 earned runs a game. 4 earned runs in 5-6 innings, and the offense maybe is going to put up 3.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I don't know.
So 56.5. Can we just do under on 3?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, under.
I'm going over.
Oh, you're a nut job.
Yeah.
I'm not going with the whole 67, 69 like projection, but I think that they're going to be right around 60.
Okay. All right.
They have a little magic every once in a while. I'll give it to them.
All right.
Moving on to the Houston Astros. Houston Asterisks is how we have it in our outline for this podcast.
God, this team is still good.
Yeah, it is.
The team is still good. They're set at 94.5 wins. Last year they won 107.
Oh my lord!
That's a lot of wins.
That's a lot of wins.
Zips projects them to go 96 and 66.
Pacoda has them going 98 and 64. So over on that base projection, they lost Garrett Cole, they lost Wade Miley, they lost Will Harris and Robinson Chirinos. This is still one of the better teams in baseball. I think obviously the big narrative hanging over them is like how they deal as the season goes on with the scandal that happened. Does that have an effect on their game, or can they shut it out and be like, F it, we're still the best team in baseball?
Oh, they're definitely going to be like that.
Right.
How did that play into how many wins you think they got? Like, how many wins do you think
There's
came
been
from
like
their cheating scandal?
There's been articles and how like individual guys did, and it's like, it's up to interpretation. But obviously, if you know a pitch is coming,
it's
gonna help.
You're gonna help, yeah.
I don't know.
So I don't think there's an accurate way to
at
qualify
94.
it.
I'm going to go straight up over at 94.5.
Absolutely.
This team is ridiculous.
Absolutely.
I mean, JV found it again once he came to Houston. Greinke is a stud. Lance McCullers is fantastic.
Coming off the TJ.
It don't matter. I don't think it matters with him.
He's not a power pitcher. It shouldn't.
No.
Throws hooks. He
Bottom
throws
half,
a mean
bottom half of
ball.
that lineup. I mean, bottom half of the rotation with your Quiddity and James. I mean, whatever. But who cares when you have Springer, Altuve, Brantley, Bregman, Yuli, Yordan Alvarez, Correa, Riddick. I mean, Jesus Christ. Over.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna be. I think they're gonna be another 100-win team.
They're gonna thrive on being hated.
Oh, absolutely.
And then they're gonna come back and be like, that didn't mean anything.
You just
like,
see. I just look at Bregman, and I could just see Bregman being like, "Oh, good, you guys better hate me," and then just hits a
you know,
dinger.
Jose Altuve is just gonna be like egging it on too. Like,
I don't think
he's liking being hated. I think.
Yeah.
I don't think they give a crap. I think it's gonna be they're gonna be another 100-win team.
I'm torn here. I don't know.
You shouldn't be.
I think the total is right. But again, like it's just that competitive balance thing where the division is like, who other than the Athletics are gonna really kind of keep up with them because they have the best lineup in baseball. Like yes, like Mano said, you can look at those individual stats and home and away splits and you can understand it, but like.
They didn't lose anybody. I mean, you lose
The
Garrett
thing
Cole.
is,
One of the
Garrett
best
Cole.
You lose Garrett Cole. That's it. That's
Big
really
deal.
it. I mean, yeah, but that's not going to stop them from winning 100 games. That's going to help. That's going to stop them from maybe taking an extra step in the playoffs. In the regular season, that's not going to. I mean, come on.
This is still one of the best teams in baseball.
I'm
People
gonna
writing
go
them off.
under. I'm gonna go under because
Under 94.
94 wins is a lot.
They won 107.
I know they won
Considering
107.
That's 13 more.
The thing is, like this lineup,
less.
like Garrett Cole's an automatic win last year. You and you're not replacing Garrett Cole with Justin Verlander. You're replacing Garrett Cole with your number 5 guy. That's the difference you need to look at because, like, you have Josh James in there as their 5 guy. This guy was coming out of the bullpen getting spot starts last year.
It's gonna be a revolving door until they can
The thing
figure
is,
something
like,
out.
Verlander has been good. But he's 35, 36. Like, he's up there. Like, he can absolutely go down with an injury at any minute. Same thing with Zach Greinke. They have an older rotation, and you never know what's going to go down. And
Greinke's filthy. Oh, I love watching him throw the baseball.
I agree, but I just think this team is a couple injuries away. Not a lot either. Like, maybe 2 or 3 impact guys, and that's pretty much an injury to any starter for the most part because they have a lot of impact guys. But yeah, I don't know about 95 wins. I think.
Listen, if it matters,
I'm gonna go under.
Lance
If you're saying
McCullers
under,
drew
how
some
many
checks.
Lance
I
McCullers
think they
coming
get
back.
90.
Lance McCullers coming back, and I would watch out for their top prospect pitcher, Forrest Whitley. He's probably going to end up slotting into that 5th spot. Those 2 guys don't equal Garrett Cole, but they get you closer to that mark than
It's the dude.
Iroquois and Josh
McCullers grew some lettuce, and now he's going to ball out.
It's all about the flow.
It's all about the flow.
Look, I think they end up within. I think they're more likely to end up within the 90 to 95 range than they are to go 95 plus. So
that's okay.
So I'm not saying they're going to be an 80-win team, but that's about it. So
Mike?
Oh, I said over.
Oh, okay.
all right, moving on to the Kansas City Royals.
Oh, man. Who's got a trash bin? I got to throw up. Oh, my Lord.
We passed the Astros. We lost the trash. Okay.
The total set at 64 and a half. Last year they were 59 and 103. The Zips projection is
Aldeberto. Sorry, I have to say his name.
71 and 91.
Alberto.
And the Pacoda projection is 63 and 99. So we have a lot of disparity between that Zips projection and the Pacoda projection. 8 wins is a lot when you're going based off financial modeling like that. Not financial, statistical modeling. Like, these are 2 completely different projections. And
Oh, they said
obviously
Michael
one
Franco?
is,
I didn't know they'd go.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that really makes too much of a difference, right?
No, 64 and a half. I'm going under.
I'm going to just... I don't want to look into this because I just really hate the Rose, but I'm going to go over. I'm going to get them at 65 wins, just barely. I'm going to bet 65.
Damn.
I'm hanging with the under, just under around 62, 63.
Jorge Soler's a stud. Whit Merrifield's a single machine. And that's
Solar
about...
power. They're getting Salvi back. They
getting
re-sign
Salvi.
Alex Gordon.
Yeah, Alex Gordon's just a guy.
His team won a World Series. Fucking
less than 5 years ago. Yeah, who'd they play?
They played the Mets. You
The
remember
Mets,
that
the
one?
Mets had no business being in that World Series.
No, but there they were.
I'm going to go over on this.
Yeah.
It's the same concept for the... I don't think they blow the total out of the water. I don't think they're competitive, but I think they're between 65 and 70 wins this year. I have a tickle in my throat, so if you hear that, my bad.
My bad.
It's kind of frustrating to talk with, to be completely honest. But if you get Trevor Rosenthal right, he was a
Yeah, he
nightmare
throws some-
last year, but he
throws some
throws
steam.
gas. Like that guy is.
He had
He's in his 30s. He's still
I
touching
think it was
100.
I think it was a 30 save guy with Cardinals 3 years ago now.
Same thing with Maikel Franco. Like, they're just taking flyers on guys with a good past. Greg Holland, bringing these guys in to really. They're all veteran guys. I'm not sure about Maikel Franco's locker room presence, but a guy like Greg Holland, Trevor Rosenthal, I don't think he's necessarily a great guy. I might be wrong, but I feel like he has like a bad aura around him, like attitude-wise. I don't know if it's just because it's like a rollover from last year when he just literally couldn't find the strike zone for like a month. And I don't think he ever straightened it out either. But
is Ian Kennedy like 60 years old?
Ian Kennedy went from the Yankees to just living in Kansas City.
He does throw
He's a decent closer.
He throws a Vulcan change, if that means anything.
Vulcan change is an MLB The Show pitch. I've never heard of anybody call it a Vulcan change in real life.
Well, I got news for you. He does.
Mike, what do you think? Over? Under?
No, I said just under.
Just under? So we got 2 unders and over?
Yeah.
All right. This team is puke. Go on to the next one.
Moving on, we got the Angels.
This is a fun one.
Oh,
it is a fun one,
the Angels of Anaheim.
It's fun, but it's also frustrating.
Key addition. Should be so good.
It should be so
Should
good.
be so good.
It really should, and they've messed up and wasted
Wow, their
between
pitching is
5
so
and
bad.
7 years of Mike Trout's career,
Their
if not
pitching
all
is
of
so
it.
bad. Teheran is not good.
No. He's
He's
going to
not.
eat innings, though.
Yeah, Heaney's not good. Dylan Bundy.
The thing is with this Los Angeles Angels rotation is they were headed in the right direction.
Wait, before we keep going, how come Shohei Ohtani is not in their starting rotation?
Because he's not throwing, I don't think, until halfway through the year, if at all.
Really?
Yeah, so
Just wondering.
I don't know if he's on the injury report. He's not. He's playing, but regardless, they bring in Anthony Rendon, Ryan Buckner, Jason Castro, and they lost Cole Calhoun, who's kind of been a staple in right field for them over the past couple of years. And
Great
he's a
fielder.
solid guy. I'd
Great
compare him to
fielder.
like Brett Gardner.
He's a great fielder.
But going back to my other point, on the unfortunate and untimely death of Tyler Skaggs last year really kind of it made an impact for them because, I mean, and it's not really a fair comparison, but I'm looking at this like the Marlins and the Jose Fernandez situation where with just one day waking up, like the trajectory of your organization and your staff and a big name guy is just not going to be there anymore.
In the middle of the year, too.
Middle of the year, it's just like rocks your entire world.
And on hardcore drugs.
Like in a team hotel. But I mean, I don't want
Hardcore. It wasn't like he got in a boating accident. He did it. He OD'd on some
the
hardcore
thing is, I don't think that
drugs.
boating accident would have happened. I don't want to get into touchy stuff, but I don't think that boating accident would have happened if it were not for the cocaine in the system.
Yeah, but still.
But regardless, let's just move on. And it sets your organization back, is my point.
What's the total?
It's unexpected. It's not something you prepare for. And that guy would absolutely have been their number one starter this year. Now
All right, so an extra 14 wins, 72 to 86. An extra 14 wins do they get this year?
Under.
Getting Rendon. I don't think they're getting 85 this year. I don't. I just think their pitching's not going to hold up.
I agree with you. If you a guy like Brian Goodwin, he kind of broke out last year. Look for that to number to shoot way down. Justin Upton has to
Tommy
stay on
LaStella
the
was
field.
playing well last year too.
Right, Tommy LaStella was up there.
Algetron.
Yeah,
I love their offense.
This
They're
lineup is
dirty.
Like, it's pretty good.
Besides for
stick
Fossil.
Albert Pujols in there. Eff it, man. That dude should have retired like 4 years ago. But if you're still getting paid, man, you're gonna go under friggin'. That's ridiculous.
I think they're going to be. There's a better chance that they're between 80 and 85 than 85 plus. So.
I think Albert Pujols is like a 100-WAR player right now, and I think if he continues to play out his contract, I think he's going to go under that, which sucks. But such is life. Or maybe he's 300, but if he keeps hitting at the rate, it's something. He's got like a milestone mark, but if he keeps playing, it's going to dip.
Yeah, I think they're just. I'm going to go just.
I think
under.
it is that average of 300.
I think it's average. Yeah, I'm going under there. This lineup is good. The pitching is not. It's easy as that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go under as well. I mean, they're just an underwhelming team with the best player in baseball, which is just mind-boggling the fact that you get a
They don't
generational
market
guy
him.
like this.
They don't market him. I don't get it.
That's a conversation for another day, though. Like that, the whole MLB marketing their superstars conversation it's infuriating.
And
as
then
a
complain if they don't
lifelong
get they
baseball
don't get
fan.
enough fans. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's just like it's a lifelong as a lifelong baseball fan, it's just unfortunate that you have guys up on billboards as these superstars like Steph Curry, LeBron James, like the biggest players on the planet, Giannis in the NBA, and you got your NFL superstars who, if you go ask somebody who's Tom Brady, everybody knows who Tom Brady is, and Mike Trout is potentially bigger to baseball, skill-wise, than Tom Brady is to football, and that guy's got to be out there.
Okay. Yeah, and he's not.
He's
It's
just not.
stupid. Yeah, that's a conversation for another day. Unders
all around.
all around. All right.
Moving on to the Twins. Ever since that year, was it 17? I want to say when they made the wild card. Was it 17 or 18 against the Yankees?
17.
It was 17.
Yeah.
So ever since that year, when Paul Molitor really brought them to the forefront, they've kind of been that team who we see it. It's like an athletics, like a sneaky kind of team, kind of like I'm projecting the White Sox to be this year. Do we give the total on this?
92 and a half. Last year they won 101. Fangraphs has them going 88 and 74. Pacoda has them going 93 and 69. So regression from last year. They added Homer Bailey, Rich Hill, whose nickname was Dick Mountain.
I like that. I've never heard that before.
Comedy.
He also got arrested outside of a football game this year.
Yeah, because his wife didn't want to. They asked him to leave his bag outside or put it in a locker. His wife didn't want to, so they.
Also something
whatever.
stupid.
Yeah. Josh Donaldson and Julius Jacine.
You can't forget about Kenta. Kenta Maeda.
Kenta Maeda too. Yeah. They lost Kyle Gibson, Martin Perez, Jason Gasser, Jonathan Scope.
I'm going to tell you, 92.5 wins over. I'm telling you, over 92.5 wins. There's going to be another 100-win team this year. I mean, the addition of Donaldson just puts them over the edge, I think. They were able to do it without him last year, and I can only imagine what it's going to be like with him this year.
I agree. Over 92 and a half.
I don't
think they win 101, but if they're hovering around 96, 97, that's fine.
I think they're a 100-win football, 100-win baseball team. Pitching, all they need is decent pitching, and they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine.
I'm going to go under on this. I think they're close to their win total, but I don't know. When I'm going to take a 93-win team, like if you look at the Twins bullpen, like it's fine, but it's not great. There's no names that really jump out. Taylor Rogers is going to be closing for them. They got Trevor Maybach. He was dealing with some injury, and he's a relatively kind of middle of the pack, don't really know his name guy, but he does stream video games on Twitch, which is why I know who he is. But he's back, and that's why I've been keeping up with his injuries. Don't watch him frequently, but I've come across his page before. Sergio Romo, Tyler Clifford, Tyler Duffy, Matt Whistler, who I believe was in Atlanta earlier, Zach Littell. These are guys that have just been journeyman bullpen guys for their career. They're going to get the job done. They're veterans, but I don't think that they're going to be a 93-plus win team.
No, I think they're going to.
I think they are, but I don't think they're going to hit 100. High 90s.
All right.
Moving right along.
Oh, Jesus.
Nick, break down the Yankees for us.
You're asking me to break down the Yankees? Well,
Yes.
right now they look like the New York Mets with all these injuries going into opening day.
Ouch.
To be completely honest with you, I would prefer not to talk about this team, and they're projected at 100 wins, and it sucks because I do think that they win like 103 games this year.
Well, last year they went 103 and 59. They're
Oh.
projected to get. FanDuel has them at 100 and a half right now. Zips or Fangraphs rather has them going 93 and 69. Regression.
Listen, it's the Yanks. They know how to piss me off, and they're going to win over 100 games.
Pacoda has them going 99 to 63. Key addition: Garrett Cole. Some losses: Edwin, Didi, Dellin. Tough losses. But yeah, with the injuries that this team is going through, like it's not going to impact them long term. It's going to impact them short term.
Your first couple months will be tough.
100 wins for any team is tough. They won 103 last year with all the injuries and guys stepping up and who had no business really hitting a baseball well, like Mike Tauchman, like Gio Urshela. Guys that came up and produced, like Mike Ford, etc. List goes on and on. This is a good team. They're going to I don't know if they're going to tread water for a little bit, but I think it's reasonable to assume that some of these guys are going to get worse coming off
I hate talking about the Yankees. I'm sorry. I hate talking. At least it's not this. That's fine, guys. This is all you.
Well, at least I'm not tooting their horn. At least I'm not.
I just hate talking about the Yankees.
I'm not going to toot their horn either when it gets around.
It's tough. Any
I
team.
appreciate. It's actually nice to have some. Yankee fans are being humble now, and I appreciate that.
It's not. Wouldn't necessarily call it humble. I'd call it like realistic.
It's tough. It's tough.
You look at the lineup, like up and down. Like I'm just gonna run through like a quick projection. Like we have LeMahieu, Gardner, Torres, Sanchez, Voit, Andujar, Clint Frazier.
Oh man.
Gio Urshela, and then Mike Tauchman in the 9-hole. This is all with current injuries. To Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Hicks. Our starting outfield.
Sevy, Paxton.
Like,
yeah,
the
first,
lineup
the
is
first couple months are gonna be tough.
Garrett Cole had the
everybody-
fever today.
Yeah, that is true.
Oh.
It's just
Oh.
I'm not gonna lie. I loved watching him getting.
I got a couple text
That was
messages after that, like, "Oh, Garrett Cole looked great today. Like, this is wonderful. Like, look at
After
this,
the
look at
game
this, look
today,
at
he
this."
was like, "Yeah, I knew my fastball got chilled, but I wanted to keep throwing it to see if I could get it right, and I couldn't get it right." So
It's spring training.
Yeah,
It's
might as
just-
well.
Yeah.
If anybody says that this is any indication of the way Garrett Cole is going to pitch this year, like, they're just flat out wrong. Like, it's not going to happen.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Garrett Cole's the best pitcher. Not the best. Sorry, I gotta say DeGrom's the best. But
I would agree with you.
Garrett Cole is obviously number 2 when it comes to that, and he will bounce back. It's not that Garrett Cole won't have a good year. You just need to wait until your injured list isn't what it is right now.
I'm just a
You
big
need-
proponent of the fact that these guys are not going to play the way they played last year.
That's fine.
until
That's
these guys come
That's just
back.
natural regression. It's one of those things. It's like you had one good year, go out and prove it again. And like they could do it, but they could
Absolutely
also.
have the
It's
talent, yeah.
probably more likely that they don't than they keep pace. And even if they're a little worse, like that's still a phenomenal baseball player. But like lineup aside, Paxton's going to miss a little bit of time. Sevy's going to miss the whole season. The bottom 3 guys in the rotation probably project out to be Loaizaga and Montgomery.
Lasagna!
Or bottom 2, rather. I think Aaron Boone said today that Montgomery's going to have that 4th spot. So the 5th one is probably going to go to Loaizaga because he has major league experience. You know what you're going to get from Garrett Cole. You know what you're going to get from Tanaka. You need J Happ to be the pitcher that he was in Toronto. And when the Yankees acquired him, you don't need him to be the pitcher that he was last year, and he's going to rely on his fastball, and whether or not it has life or not, or whether or not he can put the ball in the right spots is a big difference.
He's got to spot his pitches. If he doesn't spot
absolutely.
his pitches, he's in trouble.
Absolutely. And he's one of those guys, like he's gonna get shelled to the tune of like 4 runs, like almost every, or like 3 or 4 runs every game. You're not, I don't think you're ever gonna get a shutout from J Happ. That's just not the way he pitches.
So what are we doing over here with the total?
At 100.5.
I have to say over because if they get under, I'm going to be very happy.
Yeah, 100 seems like a good number here, and that's kind of the point. I'll go over.
I think
'Cause
it's
I don't
slight
think-
overage. I think it's a slight overage.
I think like 101 isn't out of the question here, especially if guys actually play to their, projected bits, or like based on what they did last year.
I'm gonna go under. Little bit under. They're between 95 and 100 for me. I think this division, just with the Yankees lineup injuries in the beginning of the year, I just think they're not gonna have that fire. I mean, they're gonna come out with fire attitude from an attitude perspective, but I just don't think they're gonna have the thump in their bat. I don't think they're gonna be able to come out and really compete. I think they're going to drop division games to the scrappy teams like the Rays. They're going to lose games to the Blue Jays.
The Rays are not a
Red Sox
crappy
are going to
team.
get them.
Rays are good.
The division is just starting to come back and equal itself out. It was a Yankee-Red Sox race for a couple years. Now the Rays are back in it. The Blue Jays are coming back in it. The Orioles are still a little bit irrelevant. But, yeah, I just think this is going to be one of those divisions where I think the Yankees still come out on top by a couple games, but yeah, I mean, they're a good enough team to the point where they can win the division without winning 100 games, and I think that's the way the season's going to go.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a little bit disappointing. I'm going to go with the under. I think we're looking mid to low 90s. I agree they'll probably win the division. But like we touched on with the injuries, and also Garrett Cole lost the flow. When you lose the flow, you lose the cheddar.
He still got the flow. He just doesn't have the beard.
Okay.
He doesn't have the same.
He doesn't have the
cheese.
same.
You know that cheese
He's
he had?
tamed now. He's tamed.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's fine.
He put the grease in.
I
his
ride on the
hair.
mojo. I ride on
The
the
clay,
mojo.
the
Yeah.
Clay Buchholz
Yeah,
grease.
yeah, the Clay Buchholz
The
grease.
pine tar where
Yes,
he's
sir.
showering in pine tar. and-
Disgusting. His hair is just all just. You look at
Yeah.
it, it's just
He
shiny.
pitched last year. Do you know that?
Clay.
Yeah.
For who?
The Toronto.
That's bad.
He pitched for Toronto. No, maybe not Toronto. I think he pitched for Arizona.
Still bad.
Yeah.
You should not be throwing a baseball.
All right. So you're going under, Mike?
Yeah, real quick. Also, this is going to be a hated on opinion. I think the Yankees lose to the Astros again.
Tough.
Yeah!
Moving on to the Oakland Athletics. I don't want to hear this crap anymore.
So we got the Oakland A's. Oh, sorry, you started. Go ahead. I'll let you.
So the
I'm
Oakland A's.
gonna let you finish.
No, it's fun. The total set at 89.5. Last year they were 97 and 65. Zips projects them at 86 and 76, and the Pacoda projection at 85 and 77. Didn't really bring anybody in. Lost Homer Bailey, who they didn't have for a while. He's kind of like a lifelong Red. He's had injury problems.
Homer Bailey is also a fossil. He belongs in a museum.
That's also true. Same with Brett Anderson, kind of a journeyman lefty. He's played for Dodgers. I'm pretty sure he's played for the Indians at some point. Same thing with Tanner Roark. Just like
their big loss is Trinan.
It is Trinan.
And even Trinan last year wasn't the Trinan that he was in 17. Like, Trinan was, I think, statistically the best closer in baseball in 17, and then he just lost it in 18. So if he can have any sort of bounce back on the Dodgers, which we'll get to next week, it's going to be a big deal.
This team is heavy pitching. I mean, when they didn't have Manaea last year, they were bad. Mm-hmm. I mean, Frankie Montas, okay. Their offense is still good. I mean, Simeon, Laureano, Chap Daddy, Olsen, Canna, Crush Davis. I mean, Crush Davis regressed a lot last year.
I think the guy to look at here in this rotation to really make a jump forward is Luzardo. I think he came on at the end of last year, I'm pretty sure, and I don't know much about the guy, but for whatever reason I have like a good vibe surrounding the guy's name, and usually it's just because
it's because his name is Jesus.
He's been doing good, and you see him like you see him pop up in the MLB app like once every 5 days, and then you just kind of like quickly follow him, and then you just like you just notice the quick little stats, and I'm assuming that's how it is, and I just think that this is a guy to look out for. No real basis behind it, other than the fact that he's a guy that you want to take the next step. He's young, and this is a rotation that really needs somebody to step up and really be that good 2-3 guy behind Manaea, Montas, and Mike Fiers.
I think Sean Manaea, Sean Manaea is going to be the dude in this rotation. He's going to be an absolute stud. If this team has playoff aspirations, he needs to be one of the better pitchers in baseball. I know he has an injury history. And sometimes it's just something you can't shake. Sometimes you might need an extra day. Sometimes you might need to get pulled early or miss a start or something like that. But
I think they're starting to figure him out.
He's on fire. He is one of the better pitchers in baseball when he's on. I'm really excited for this team.
Over 89.5.
I have to go over because every year Oakland does this where they're like middling a little bit. They're like 7 games over 500 or something like that. And they go like they'll win 2 and then lose 1. Like they'll win a series but they won't sweep anybody, or they'll split a series.
That's all they need.
And then all of a sudden they'll have like second half of the year, like from this month to this month, on day games between 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock, like they're the best team in baseball. Like they haven't lost, and it's like, where did that come from? Every single year they do this.
Where are they playing? Where are they going to be playing their games?
Coliseum still.
Really?
Yeah,
okay, I just wasn't sure.
Yep.
I think they're going over 89.5. I think they're a 90-win team, easy.
And this bullpen really has to kind of take a step up from what it did last year. In 17, it was one of the better units in baseball. Backed by Sweet Lou Trevino, backed by Blake Trinan.
Losing Trinan's big. I mean,
it is. It's a little bigger than most people make it out to be because he wasn't that good last year. But Lou Trevino needs to take a step up. Liam Hendricks was one of the best closers in baseball last year when he officially got that job. Yeah, they have Joaquin Soria. He's gonna ring.
They also signed Matt Harvey.
Yeah, they have Matt Harvey.
I don't think that matters, but sure.
He'll be hanging out in the minors all year.
Daniel Mengden has a sweet mustache. He's more of a starting pitcher, but.
Stash prevails.
He has injury history. He was up and down last year. Once he gave up a lot of home runs last year, they sent him down. He kind of figured it out, came back up, and fixed his.
He's expected to miss
issues.
about a month of the season.
Okay, so they'll probably bring him in the bullpen spot start guys. So I look at this team, and this is a good baseball team. I'm going over 89.5. Yeah, right around the 95 range.
Yeah, I'm over 89.
I agree with that also. I think they got enough in the bullpen, and the team is pretty much unchanged. Aside from losing some guys they brought in to fill some gaps, no huge contributors other than Blake Trinan, like we mentioned. Mike, you give it a total?
4 overs.
4 overs?
Going over? Yeah.
All right, moving on. We have the Seattle Mariners.
Bad baseball team.
Bad team, but let me read you the total. We got 66.5. Last year they won 68 games. On a down year, I think they underperformed last year. Zip's projection at 66 and 96. Same thing with the Pacoda projection. They lost King Felix, who's now with Atlanta.
Yep.
Um,
It's a loss, but it's like a more of an emotional loss than a talent loss. So I put it on there anyways, so we can pour one out. We can shed a tear for King Felix. In Seattle.
Now, I think I'm going to go over here. I think they're going to win more than 66 games.
I think you're dumb.
I am absolutely dumb. The only thing that excites me about the Mariners is Jared Kalenic in their minor league system. The Mets traded for him.
I've seen him play. I saw him.
Kalenic's a stud.
I saw him at Lakewood.
He's a stud. Kalenic is a stud, and when he comes up, he's going to be great. The offense, though, right now is pretty bad. By pretty bad, I mean terrible. But
Oh my god.
but they have some. I'm gonna go strictly over on the jersey game. I like their jerseys.
The jerseys are fresh.
They have some fresh jerseys, so that's gonna account for an extra couple wins.
I'm gonna go under here, right? This offense is not inspiring at all.
putrid.
It's not inspiring at all.
It's so bad.
So where are you getting production in this
Kyle
lineup?
Seager's going to pop some solos, and that's
JP
about it.
Crawford.
And you know what he's going to do? He's going to get traded because Jerry DePito just trades everybody. Dan Vogelbach, terrible second half of the year, great first half of the year. He's getting out of there.
Kyle Seager was supposed to be traded for the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, but here he is. DePito is actually going to trade him.
He
Their
got
starting
hurt,
pitchers.
too.
Their starting pitchers, I like a lot more.
Marco.
Marco Gonzalez is one of the better pitchers in the league. Those stats don't really do him justice, but everything advanced has him like one of the better lefties in the league. Yusei Kikuchi, I think he was one of the best pitchers in Japan, right? Came over, couldn't figure it out. Full year under his belt. I give him a little more leeway.
This projection is projecting him at 5-14 with a 5.1 ERA.
I think that's way too high.
That's like a terrible
bad.
projection
That's
in
pretty
my
bad.
opinion.
Justice Sheffield, former Yankee. I've been watching him a little bit in spring. He's throwing some Chad. Kendall Graveman and T1 Walker. T1 Walker was really, fall from grace. One of the better pitchers that was in Seattle, kind of got hurt, went to Arizona.
He came
now
from
he's
Arizona, didn't he?
last year. No, he was in Seattle.
He was in Seattle, then went to Arizona?
Yep.
I thought it was the other way around the entire time.
You might be right. I think. No, you're wrong. He was in Seattle.
No, he's still in Seattle.
No, he was in
Arizona.
Seattle.
Now he's in Seattle.
Yeah, he was in Seattle first, and then Arizona, and now back to Seattle.
Regardless,
I'm
he's
like
not gonna do much.
95% sure.
I'm gonna look it up because I'm curious.
I think he's gonna be a good pitcher. If the injuries are behind him, he was one of the top prospects in baseball. Like when he was coming up. That said, everybody that has yeah, I know I'm right.
Oh!
That any production here, they're gonna ship out for assets.
I mean, they have
later
Mitch
down the line.
Haniger, but the guy is hurt. He's going to be out. He had like a testicle issue like last year, and now he's got a back problem. So he's going to miss a couple months this year. Even if he comes back, I don't think he's going to get traded. Like you said, I think it's Kyle Seager is the big guy to get traded out of this team.
Nah, Haniger's going too.
I don't know. I don't see how you trade Mitch Haniger.
What happened?
It's Jerry DePito.
They always keep the one guy though.
Nah,
And,
it's Jerry
it's
DePito.
been Kyle Seager, but now it's his time to go, and Haniger's going to suffer.
What happened to his testicle?
He had some. I don't remember what it was,
vein.
but I remember when the report came out, everyone was just like, "Oh, all right, if that's what it is."
Mikey, over or under?
Under. Nick, they might have fresh jerseys, but nothing looks good in the rain, and it rains a lot there. Under.
Ooh.
Okay.
Over under 162
They do have a
games
retractable
played.
roof, to be fair.
That's a good point. All right, moving on to the Rays. These next couple are
I'm going under. I didn't say it, but I'm going
okay.
under.
These next couple are fun. We got the Tampa Bay Rays projected on FanDuel at 91.5. Last year they went
Fangraphs?
FanDuel went.
Sorry.
Last year they went 96 and 66. Fangraphs has them going 89 and 73. Pacoda has them going 87 and 75. Some key losses: Eric Sogard, who wears the same glasses that I do. The difference is he plays baseball. They lost Abisail Garcia, and
Okay, I'm good.
they lost Travis d'Arnaud.
Where did he go? I have no clue.
Milwaukee,
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
No, he did. His brother plays in Atlanta.
Okay, well, he's not in Tampa Bay anymore.
I'm pretty sure it's Milwaukee. Didn't they need a new catcher? No, he's in Atlanta.
God, why is he back in the division? Tampa Bay, he's going to rank.
Tampa Bay fixed them.
Then he's going to rank against the Mets every year.
They fixed them. Anyways,
Darn it!
No, he knows what they're throwing too.
Darn it!
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's a tough life.
No trash cans to figure it out this time.
It's a tough life. So yeah, I'm gonna go over. Tampa is one of the better teams in the league. If you look at their lineup, they have some dudes that you look at. If for like the casual baseball fan, you look at and they're like, who? And then you watch them play baseball and they're like, oh shit, they're actually good. Brandon Lau and Nate Lowe is somewhere in there too. He might be on the bench, but that's fine. They're both solid productions. They have guys that just play everywhere. Like these guys don't miss days because they can just play anywhere.
No, now they have Jose Martinez who could play right.
Their real impact guys are Austin Meadows and Yandy Diaz. Like
even G-Man Choi.
Now they have Jose Martinez. Like I loved Jose Martinez in
Jose Martinez is not an outfielder, and he's probably not a first baseman. So for him to just pick up the pine and just swing it and then sit back down, like that's fine for him.
Oh, that's Hunter Renfroe too.
Hunter Renfroe is under the same category, but Hunter Renfroe is a much better fielder than Jose Martinez ever was. Look for Zunino to kind of bounce back to a better form.
In the rotation with Morton, Snell, Glasnow. Glasnow is a stud. Mm-hmm. Yanni Chirinos and Ryan Yarbrough.
And they have their bullpen.
Their bullpen throws disgusting stuff, like physics-defying stuff.
Diego Castillo and Jose Alvarado. Oh, my goodness.
And Chaz Rowe. You ever see a Chaz Rowe slider?
It's disgusting.
Gross.
It's one side of the box to the other.
It's disgusting.
91.5 wins. I'm going to go over. I think
this is one of the better teams in baseball.
This is a great team. Again, tough division. It's always going to be a tough division, the AL East, but I think they're going to win over 91 games. Well, 92. I think they're going to win 92 plus games. I think it's going to be from the 92 to the 98 range. I don't think they're going to touch 100, but they're going to win their baseball games. Mm-hmm. This is going to be a nice betting team. This is going to be a very nice betting team. I don't think Vegas is going to respect them at all first half of the season.
I would agree with you. Wow.
An earthquake.
Jesus.
I can't help it, boys.
Wow.
Check your trousers.
But yeah, people forget like Blake Snell kind of wasn't that great last year, but you know what he did the year before? Won a friggin' Cy Young.
And didn't get paid. He got disrespected.
Yeah.
Even Charlie Morton should have won a Cy Young.
Exactly. Fine. Garrett Cole and Justin Verlander.
Yeah, and Rick Porcello deserved his too.
Slick Rick Porcello.
Hey, Mets have 3 Cy Youngs in their bullpen.
I forgot he was on the Mets. I was just making an analogy. But if the shoe fits.
The shoe
so
does fit.
This team to me is over 90 wins.
Yeah.
Well, over 91.
92?
91 and a half.
Over 91 and a half.
I'm
taking the over too. I like the over. Yep.
I'm going to go under. You can't have that many 90-win teams in a division. And you already got the Yankees, and I think the Red Sox have the potential to creep up closer there. This is a 3-horse race with the Blue Jays slowly behind, but they're going to finish third in the division, and I don't know how many teams finish third in the division above 90 wins, so I'm going to go under. I just don't – they're not consistent enough for me. They have been the last couple of years, but they don't give off that aura.
I think they break out this year. This is their breakout year.
Like a guy like Brandon Lau, a guy like G-Man Choi, Willie Adames, Kevin Kiermaier, Mike Zunino. You can get wins out of them, but
you don't need G-Man Choi to be.
You don't, but you got him in the 4 hole. 3, 4, 5, middle of your lineup.
All he's got to do is go 1 for 4, and that's a good day.
I would take a 250 average in the majors, but the thing is, you're gonna have a lineup full of 250 hitters. You're not winning 91 plus games.
Well, that's why their whole lineup isn't full of 250 hitters. They just need one.
Exactly, but the rest of them aren't much higher than 250 is what I'm saying. So, I don't know. I'm gonna go under here for the points mentioned before.
I'm riding with you. High 80s.
Yeah, look, I think they're gonna be a good team. I think they sneak into the wild card, but maybe not even sneaking. I think they win a wild card spot.
Yeah, I think they're the clear cut.
I
like them this year.
They're going to be fighting the Red Sox for second place. They might edge them out, but I don't think they get 91.5.
All right, we got 2 more teams left. Let's jump on over to the Texas Rangers. Last year they went 78-84. FanDuel thinks they're going to stay right on that. Under set at 78.5. Zips has them, or Fangraphs rather, has them at 78-84. Pacoda has them at 73-89. Some key additions: Kyle Gibson, the Todd father. You know he took a picture with Derek Jeter?
Well, he did not only take a picture, but he was next to him during the national anthem, I think.
He was also participating in the World Series, and that's probably why he got there.
The
Throwing it
Little
out
League World
there.
Series.
He won the Little League World Series.
Did you know he's from Tom's River?
He's from Tom's River.
He's from Tom's River.
Damn,
And
all
he
right.
played for the Mets and the Yankees.
And
God.
somehow Tom's River is connected to New York when it's about almost 2 hours, if not more.
All right, this guy, Todd Frazier. Anyways, Jordan Lyles and former Yankee Greg Bird. They lost Hunter Pence. I hate Greg Bird. They lost Hunter Pence. 78.5. I don't see it with this team. I'm going
under.
under.
I'm going under. I'm not looking too deep into this team. I think they're under. I'm not worried about it.
Unfortunately, Mano, you put the link for Tampa Bay here.
Oh,
I thought
I'm
fucked
sorry.
up.
If you do TEX in the ID there, yeah, there you go.
Excuse me.
Nice. And if you go back to lineup and rotations, you're going to see
Sorry, I'm
that
having a
this,
coughing fit over here.
you're going to see that this lineup isn't that great.
not.
Chu. You know, the only person I really love on this team is Joey Gallo. I love Joey
so
Gallo
good.
for the past 3-4 years. He's a stud. He's got to get out of there because that team is just atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Rugi, that's really all you have on that team. And
This team is going to be carried by their starting pitchers, but as we mentioned earlier, we're kind of in an era where the starting pitchers don't go as long. You're hoping for a bounce back from Corey Kluber, right? He was hurt last year. He was one of the best pitchers in baseball when he was healthy. You have Mike Minor, who was a stud last year.
He's not
I
a
don't
major,
think
though.
he's gonna. No, I don't think he's going to do that again. You had Lance Lynn, same thing, one of the better pitchers in baseball last year, relying on his two-seamer getting ground balls. I don't know if that happens again. And then you have Kyle Gibson and Jordan Lyles rounding it up. Like, it's a solid 5 guys. I just don't think, based on, you don't know what you're going to get from Corey Kluber. You're going to get regression, I think, from Mike Minor and Lance Lynn. And you don't know, and probably from Kyle Gibson too, and you don't know what you're going to get from Jordan Lyles. This team doesn't intimidate me. I'm going with the under, and it's
yeah,
fairly
I'm
easy.
taking the under. I'm not looking into this.
And that's not to say they're a bad team, like a 55 win team. I think 78 is high. I think they could easily get 80, but I think they're going to be hovering more around the 74, 75 range.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm gonna go with under. I'm not gonna harp much on this, but they're just a very average team. I think they're, yeah, like you said, between the 70 and 75 range. They're just not good enough to compete here, especially in that division.
Average is what average does. Under.
Hey!
There you go.
Nice. Here we go. Last one. I think this is probably one of the most fun teams in the American League, so it's a fun way to end it here. We have the Toronto Blue Jays, the young, Y-U-N-G, young Toronto Blue Jays. Last year they went 67 and 95. FanDuel this year has them winning 75.5 games, so you can get the over and under on that. Fangraphs has them going 74 and 88. Bakota has them going 77 and 85. Some key additions: Hyun-Jin Ryu, Tanner Roark, and probably my favorite in this list, Travis Shaw. Key losses: Justin Smoke. Make of it what you will. He's a 25 home run guy. That's about
you
it.
replace a lefty bat with a
Sure.
guy like Shaw. and you're
Sure,
good.
absolutely.
Hey, Smoke's a switch
I'm gonna
hitter.
let you guys start it because I'm curious to see what you guys think of these young Blue Jays.
Go ahead, Sick. I'll chime in with you.
Alrighty. I feel like, them being the last team, they've got the benefit of me chiming in on them every single time that they're possibly relevant in the conversation because I can't keep my words in my mouth.
Well, that's why you do
Where
Yeah.
are they going?
Yeah,
That's why we do this.
they're going into the mic. Is that where those words are going?
Yeah, I don't know where they go after that, though.
Into
But,
the computer.
yeah,
Yeah, they're just flying away.
It goes to your ears.
Okay.
Regardless,
So,
the lineup is young. They just don't really have, excuse me. Nick, take over. I need to get this under control here.
Okay, so the lineup is young with Bo Bichette, Kevin Biggio, Vlad Guerrero Jr. Lourdes Gurriel Jr.
Nordies.
I love Grichuk. I love Randall Grichuk. He's a great player. We got the only thing that does scare me is their bullpen. Their arms, not just their bullpen, their arms. Hyun-Jin Ryu. I've never really liked Hyun-Jin Ryu. He had a good year last year, but that's just about all that sold me on this baseball team. I do think they're the most exciting strictly because it's just all legacy players in here with Bichette, Biggio, Vlad Guerrero. Now you have Reese McGuire in there too. 75 wins or over 75.5 is tough. It's tough. Toronto's finally back. I think they have the city behind them again after, having when they had Donaldson and Bautista.
It's a great baseball city, but they're not going to come out unless they're good.
I love that stadium, and we need to take a trip.
Yeah, well,
Just saying.
They have
Toronto in general, just
Without a doubt.
Well, they have like those. You could like stay in the stadium. They have like hotels in the stadium where you could like sit and like watch the game from in like a press box. It's sick. It's sick. I would love to do that. Are they going to win 76 games? I think they're going to win 80 baseball games this year. I think they're going to win 80 baseball games. I think they're going to come out. I think they're going to come out smoking hot. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to come out smoking hot, and then I think they're going to cool down. But I'm going to take the over.
I feel like I have to go with the under. Every other team besides the Orioles, I've probably said is going to go over with these projections. So I have to go with the under. I don't think they're going to improve by 9 games. I think they're going to be lower 70s.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go under here as well. I think they're between 70 and 75 wins, which I think would be a good season for them. Maybe not. Like I feel like it's about right. I think if they go 500, they're overperforming. Their starting rotation isn't there. Their bullpen isn't there.
They need to make a splash.
And yeah, like Mike said, I mean, Yankees, Red Sox, Rays, 3-horse race with the Blue Jays shortly behind them. But yeah, I'm gonna go under to round this one out.
I'm going under as well. These guys in the lineup are phenomenal. They're great dudes. Bichette, Biggio, Gurriel, Guerrero. I think Travis Shaw is going to have a bounce back year. It's kind of hard to do worse than what he did last year. Toscar Hernandez is really good when he's hitting the ball. He's one of the streakier players in baseball. But you touched on it, Stick, and it's the pitching. Hyun-Jin Ryu is a phenomenal pitcher, right? He was a phenomenal pitcher last year. I don't think he's going to keep up that momentum, and you kind of saw the cracks last year late in the season. He was kind of falling apart. And then you have Chase Anderson, Tanner Roark, Schumacher and Baricki are hurt, and Trent Thornton. Those guys don't really inspire me. This is a team heavy relying on the lineup, and those teams usually don't win. Offense usually doesn't pay out. They have a good, closer in Ken Giles, but that's really their best bullpen arm. Sean Reed Foley is okay, more of a starting pitcher, but I think we'll see what this team looks like. Their top prospect is shredding right now. The pitcher whose name I don't remember off the top of my head, but he's probably going to come up later in the year. It's an interesting dynamic on this Blue Jays team. I don't think they have it in them, though. I'm going solid under.
All right. So, that wraps up our American League preview. We'll bring you our NL preview next week. Hopefully you guys stuck around this long. I know this is probably a longer episode. Anyways, based on which place you probably found this, you can follow our socials on Instagram at capson.sports, on Twitter, capson_Inc., capsON Sports on Facebook, capsON Sports on YouTube. You can find this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube as well. Please like, share, comment, interact with us.
Rate and review.
Rate and review. Do
Take
whatever
a minute,
you gotta
rate
do.
and review.
Go
Helps us.
Yelp about us if you want to. We're not on there, but you can find a way. Regardless,
Can you
if you
Yelp a podcast?
no, probably not. But
Regardless, might as well just give it a shot.
Try it out. But we appreciate the support. If you enjoy the content, share it. It helps us out more than you guys probably know. But if nobody else has anything else,
no, I'm good.
Let's go Guardians.
let's go Guardians. So yeah, tune in next week for our NL preview. Look out for some March Madness content coming at you throughout the month. But yeah, thanks for listening, and as always, we'll keep the cap on for you.
Bye.